You can have a look if you want to. All right, then you scroll down further, you can see this. Okay, free writing tutorials by Dr. Tawa, 129 videos. If you click see all, you will see this is the last class lah. We got very good view. Fast high impact journal publishing. This particular class, structuring thesis chapters 1 to 5, 6 important methods for thesis turbo boost after long break. Malaysia, we always have long break. So this particular video will be very useful for you, for me as well, for you guys as well. And this is for all the ladies out there, working mom in PhD, how tough can it be? I and Dr. Aisa spoke about it. It's like a podcast lah. Okay, very nice podcast. She is my former consultee. Graduated and currently the deputy director at Majlis Bandaran Perlis. Okay, under PM office lah. Okay, and then review journal writing before proposal defense, questionnaire instrument design, many lah. Okay, this is the first class. Kalau you guys dah miss the first class, if you missed the first class, this is the video you should go and watch. Reading a paper, Web of Science Q1 for literature review. But it's only half the class, huh? So you can maybe approach NCDRC and ask them for the full recorded version. And everything else lah, this is research proposal writing, thesis strategies of minor correction, research gap, road to proposal defense and viva, literature review at Scopus, literature web of science, all about paraphrasing so that you can avoid using Quillboard and getting your thesis destroyed. It is destroying a lot of theses, be careful. Okay, I'll share about it today as well. Literature review, reading and summarizing, and so on and so forth. Okay, a lot of classes lah, you can go and watch. Problem statement writing, chapter 1 writing. Very good morning, Premani, very good morning. So these are all the classes you can go and watch and learn. Many methodology writing, discussion writing, ISI Scopus journal rejection, literature matrix, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's that. And then for those who haven't joined my Telegram group here yet, who are not in my Telegram group, please comment in the chat box, because if you're not, then I will tell you how to go and download these templates. In total, there are 14 templates for you to go and download. Okay, so Atira not in my Telegram group. Anyone else not in my Telegram group? Okay, all right. Okay, let me share the link. Okay, so this is the link. Okay, if you click that link, let me just explain. If you don't click the link yet, okay, just give me one moment. How to approach NCDRC. Later, you can talk to the host. Later, after the class, you can try asking the host. Okay, so stay until the end lah. So these are the templates you can find in my Telegram group. Literature search databases. This one, I used this in the first class this year. This one also I used in the first class this year. How to summarize your literature review after reading a paper. And then this I'll be using today. So this one I'll be using today. Okay, critical literature review. Problem statement template, literature review and background writing template, literature matrix template, systematic literature review. This will be in class number 3. And then theoretical framework, table of content, thesis proposal, abstract template. And then we have more. We have proposal defense template, Viva dengan proposal defense. Full thesis table of content template, pilot study. This one I used in the first class also. Database hierarchy for literature review. So if you guys haven't joined yet, very simple. Click this link. I tadi dah share. Let me share again. Okay. So you can click that link. Once you click that link, link3/Dr. Tawa. Once you dah click that link, you will get something like this. Click continue. Okay. So this is where you can find all my resources, all of it. So this one, literature review part 1, part 2, next week classes. Go and register yourself. It's completely free. Come and join, learn, okay? And it might help you. I might give more information than what I'm going to share today. All right. So these two, and then these are previous classes that I did this last month and this month. Recorded classes lah, so you can watch the recording. These are all our services. This is where you can request for thesis journal templates. Okay, yang tadi I share tu, you can also request it here. I will email to you in a bulk. So you have to wait lah. If you click this and register yourself, you have to wait lah Okay, and one important thing, subscribe. Once you click the link here, subscribe. Why? Because if you subscribe, whenever a new class comes up, if Facebook never notify you also, I will manually notify here via email. You'll be notified lah. Okay, you'll be notified. So just very simple. Click the subscribe, enter your email address, just agree, subscribe. That's it. Okay, that's it. Then TikTok. TikTok is something that I'm getting quite active at. Okay. Follow on TikTok. So if you open TikTok, this one is the latest one we shared 2 days ago. As you can see, it's I think one of the most hottest video lah now in academic area. So go and watch this. It's quite a fun video. And we have many different resources as well on TikTok. A lot of things, but it will be more active after this lah. Okay, so you can go and watch if you want to. Do follow us on TikTok. And then Facebook group, Telegram group is here. Click this to join. Here you click. Atira already joined. Thank you, Atira. So here you can click. You see, got 13,000 members. You just click view and you'll automatically join lah. All right. And then all the video classes also you can visit from here. I've also given a link here, free notes and all on my YouTube channel as well. Okay, so don't forget to go and subscribe to this link tree. Okay, now going to Telegram group. Where do you find all the notes? So you'll basically arrive here. See, the beauty of this group is it's not a channel. A lot of people like to use Telegram channel. Okay, Telegram channel because they only like to market. I don't like that. I like to share resources. I like to share notes. And this is directly connected to our Facebook page. So whenever we post everyday new notes, it will be also posted here. So you can also read it from here, which is the best part lah. And you are also allowed to share your questionnaire. Kalau you nak collect data or you want to look for respondents, you want to discuss about certain things, you want to ask about conferences, you want to know which journal to submit where, you are welcome to ask questions here. As long as it's not promoting, I will allow it. Okay, because you don't get 13,000 people under the same roof at any different group, and you can get to communicate with them. So make use of it. Okay, make use of it. And then if you want to search for template, just click the search button. Actually, the search button will give you a lot of things. You can type problem statement, for an example. You will find a humongous amount of notes on problem statement, you see. Banyak problem statement related notes. Because several years of notes are here. And then let's say you know all the templates that I designed. Just click template and then look for template. This one template for UMS. Just click this one. You can download all the templates here. Okay, so for those who haven't joined, you're missing out lah. All right, so up to you lah. So all the templates for UPSI and all other students. So you can go and register. I already tagged already lah here. Okay, so I hope that is clear. If you have any trouble, please let me know. Oh, I don't think you guys will have trouble. That's very straightforward thing. Okay, so that is all. So before we get started, again, another important request. Where is... So if any of your friends belum join, any of your colleagues, do ask them to come and join. I've shared the link again for today's class. Do remind them to come and join lah. Okay. So today we are going to look at fundamentals of literature review, Web of Science and Google Scholar searches, thesis and literature development workflow, literature chapter structure. After literature chapter, strategizing for publications. These are the 5 important elements we're going to visit today. If you missed the first class, watch the replay. Here is the replay. You can approach the NCDRC host later to ask for the recorded version. Or you can also alternatively go to my Facebook page and watch. This is only 1 hour lah. Yang I buat dekat UPSI tu is actually 2 hours. So this is only 1 hour. So half the class won't be there lah, unfortunately. Okay, so before we start, a bit of very quick ice breaking. Very quick one. Please give me your name, whether you're doing PhD or Masters, and what is your subject area in the chat box. Okay, so that I can know today we are getting participants from which faculty or which subject area. Okay, PhD pharmacokinetic anti-cancer. Wow, that sounds complicated. Tessol, USM, Kathleen. Okay. Do let me know your PhD or master's and subject area. Eh? Mm-hmm. Biology education. We have worked something very similar to that as well in the past, but PhD lah, PhD biology education. We did before. It's not easy. Very, very scarce literature. Very scarce literature. Okay. Literature, USM, education leadership, teacher leadership, food science, education, UKM, pendidikan, all right. Okay, all right. Okay, before we get started, please mute all your mics. Huh? Make sure you mute all your mics because I can still hear echo coming out. Please mute all your mics at all times. Okay, so let's get started. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, so this is the interesting bit. This is the inspiration today of doing literature review. This is that very diagram, and this is my own diagram actually. So I'm going to use this to start the class today because doing literature review is complex, and most of the time it is complex because we sometimes don't know why we are doing it in the first place. All right. So end of the day, this is what we want to achieve. Okay, this particular diagram, this one you're seeing at my top right here, that is the diagram we want to achieve. Okay, but whether you want to put it in diagram, you want to put it in paragraphing, you want to write it as an essay, totally up to you. This is what we call contributions. Contributions can only be achieved with having a problem. And you can only know a problem if you do a literature review, okay? Especially if you're coming from industry or you're in education sector and so on. Oopsie, I have a lot of education sector. You won't know what is literature review because there is no necessity for you to know what is literature review in the first place. As simple as that. That is the theory of everything. You don't need to know what is literature review unless you do master's research or PhD or you're a researcher by trade. Otherwise, you won't know what is literature review. Sometimes you won't even know why you need to do literature review. A lot of people have that question like, why? I know the problem. I know there is some core problem in the school that I want to solve. Why I need to do literature review? Well, you must have proof. Okay, literature review is the proof that it is the pathway where you can actually go and find that particular problem. Okay, that's why you need to do literature review. So this is an example. Okay, this is the main topic of what I did in my PhD. I still can hear my echo. I don't know where it's coming from. Can you all please check your mic and make sure that it's muted? Sean, it's coming from you, Sean. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Sean muted already. Okay. So this is the main topic of my thesis. You don't need to know what it is lah. Okay. It is what it is lah. Doesn't matter. This was like 10, 11 years ago. Okay. This is the main topic. And then here are all subtopics. Subtopics that I investigated very dearly lah. Okay. I investigated. Went through hell for this, but yeah. This is all that I investigated. And these are all the relevant contributions of those investigation. These are all my contributions, all of this. Under every subcomponent, every subtopics, I have certain contributions. And here got one more. So these are all transpired into my publications. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I had 12 publications for my PhD. All 12 are listed here. Actually, I had more. After my PhD, I still continue publishing for my thesis. But this is just for my PhD thesis, so I just take it as it is. At face value, I took it to show you guys. So if I don't do literature review, if I don't find particularly problem in every segment of these topics, I won't be able to produce all this. And by the way, most UK universities, they are publication centric. They are not really proposal thesis centric. Proposal is something for them. Proposal and thesis is something for them that you put together at the end based on your publications and you graduate. That's how they normally look at it. They don't really, they want the document to be perfect, but they don't really emphasize on it. That is something predominantly you must do. It is a default item. Okay, so UK is actually the other way around. So we always focus into publications and then we convert those publications. We add more content. We just produce thesis out of it. Okay. So end of the day, this is the end goal. Okay, this is what you want to achieve end of the day. To reach the end orange boxes, you need a problem. Whether you want to draw it this way, you want to draw it anyway. By the way, you can draw. I've had clients who I coached last time drew this diagram for law PhD. The guy UUM graduated with flying colors. The examiners loved it. These are the ones that I know lah. UKM also graduated with flying colors. That was social science. They did the same thing, contribution diagram, but they did from left to right. They never did from top to bottom. And then got few like UPM a lot, UM a lot. So whoever we coach, sometimes if they want, we will teach them extra how to do this, how to produce this particular diagram. So it actually gave a very good representation to the examiners. Why did I do this in the first place? Because that was what my supervisor wants. Since I had a lot of papers, my supervisor wants to put that in an infographic manner or in a diagram basis to show to my examiners, this is what I've done. Okay, it's sort of marketing my thesis so that the examiner will know that I've done very good job. That's how he interpreted my supervisor. So I have this in my chapter 1 itself. So when you go to my chapter 1, I have my background, introduction, problem statement, research objective. And right after objective, I think I got significance. And then I have this. I have this diagram. And after this diagram, I have my list of publications. And then only I'll go to chapter 2. So by chapter 1 itself, I already informed my examiners that my thesis is actually quite strong. So they already have that perception ready. Okay. So in order to get that orange boxes, you need to formulate problem. Without proper problem statement, you cannot formulate those orange boxes, those contributions. And to formulate a problem, you need literature to expose a gap. To expose, actually, there is a problem. There is a problem that you actually encounter and you can solve it. Even after exposing a gap, you still need literature to support your solution. And that is where discussion comes in. So based on this is the whole perspective of showing why you need to do literature review. Okay, so now let's begin the journey. So we go to the very, very basics of literature review. These are things that I'm sharing for the first time. I never shared all this before because these are all very, very basic stuff. But after teaching many, many years in many universities in Malaysia, I realized that these basic things, most of them don't know. Okay, they don't know how to actually define all this. So here I am sharing all this with you. So you have three different sources when it comes to literature. You have primary, you have secondary, and you have the theory. Okay, so you got PS, SSTS. Remember that, huh? So what is PS? PS is the mother of all literature. So it is the original source of a particular literature, not interpreted, not redefined, not repackaged, not reinterpreted by any other literature authors. That means this is the finding paper. This is the first paper. Okay, and primary sources presents new results, findings, discoveries. Well-known materials are empirical journal, technical reports, theses, patents, and conference papers. Okay, these are all the first reports, the first papers that came out. Reporting, let's say, example, you're talking about technology acceptance model. Okay, you're looking at some teaching theories. You're looking at social exchange theories. You're looking at resource-based views. So where did those theories came from? Why were those created? What were the original contribution of those? Those are all your primary sources. Okay. Then comes secondary sources. Any developmental work that cites PS, primary sources. That means extension, more addition, more investigation, and so on. Generally add values, reviews, evaluate, reanalyze primary sources. Well-known materials are review articles, sometimes also empirical papers, indexes, bibliographies. When you gather information from secondary sources, always it's a good practice lah, to refer and cite primary sources. Sometimes they are not bothered, to be honest with you. Sometimes they don't go to that extent of going reference by reference. But then you get those cycles sometimes, time to time. Okay, especially in publication. But a good rule of thumb, you better have both, or you better have the original, I mean the developed one, which is secondary source, and also the primary source, the original paper. And then for under tertiary sources, which is not really very important, it comprises of textbook, encyclopedias, fact books, guides, and handbooks. So textbooks must be the minimally cited document in your thesis. Not that many citations on that. You must remember that because book is fundamental. It's not really teaching you cutting edge research. It is already a few years ready. That means whatever, let's say someone publishes 30 papers this year, they will spend another 2 to 3 years to write that into a book. So your book is already old, teaching the fundamentals that happened a couple of years back. So that cannot be your primary source for contribution. Okay? That's why book is like the list that they will cite. Okay, then comes to the hierarchy of literature. What is the hierarchy of literature? Basically, how to distribute references in a thesis or paper. 80%, 15%, 5%, and no percentage. 80% must be journal articles, Web of Science, Scopus, PubMed, ABDC, or any other good indexing bodies lah. Then you have conference articles, which should be peer reviewed. When I say peer reviewed, it shouldn't be conference articles that conferences you go for holidays lah, or a normal postgraduate conference and so on, because that is all very trivial stuff. I'm talking about conferences that actually talks about the cutting edge research in your area. Okay, the ones that are usually organized in the US or Japan. Europe nowadays got a lot of holiday conferences already, but US, Japan, and so on, usually they're quite serious of the conferences they organize. That is where you get a lot of big, huge companies, organizations that come and present their research. Those kind of conferences is what will be good for you to cite and read. Then official reports, policies, white papers, government documents. These are all should comprise of about 80%. Okay. Videos on YouTube, you cannot cite because they are not credible sources. Don't cite videos on YouTube. That is my personal advice lah. Kalau UPSI accepts or your supervisor accept, that is your luck. But no way in this lifetime that you should ever cite or follow a YouTube video as a primary or secondary or even tertiary source as your reference lah. Okay, please avoid that. Okay. Then comes 15%. Okay, because let me tell you why. Okay, let me tell you why. If you take news or sources from CNN, BBC, what else? Malaysia Kini, The Star, it's okay because they are accountable. Tapi YouTube ni, they are not really accountable. Okay, it's just knowledge sharing or news sharing. Okay. But let's say you're taking a video from YouTube which is published by BBC. Then you go back to BBC website. Cite that BBC website. Don't cite YouTube link. Don't. I don't think we are that open yet when it comes to academia. We are still very traditional. We are still very conservative. Academia is the most conservative segment in the world. It is very, very conservative. So you have government thinking, government policies, and government parliament and so on. They are all very conservative. They are very rules, red tapes. Same goes to academia. Academia has massive amount of red tapes, which is required because otherwise, if you keep citing all non-credible sources, then whatever you do also will become non-credible, unfortunately. Okay, so that is 80%. Then we come down to 15%. 15%, you can look into non-indexed journals. There are also questions coming up where they say, my study area don't have many indexed journals, mostly non-indexed, especially some education areas, okay. Islamic studies, a lot of Islamic studies, very, very good papers, but they are not indexed. I think Scopus is gradually opening up. Web of Science is slowly opening up. They're allowing Islamic-related journals to index. Okay, I work very closely with USIM, so I know how they struggle. But in those circumstances, then yes, non-indexed journals can be considered. Okay, more than 15% lah, obviously. Books keep it at minimal, that's why it's under 15%. Edited books pun sama. Then you have the balance 5%, which are news articles, highly credible. Highly credible. Websites, highly credible. Highly credible means what? World Health Organization, UNESCO, World Bank, IMF, news outlets, best news outlets, Washington Post lah, Star lah, Sun lah, Malaysia Kini lah, all this kind of, where they are held accountable and they have what they call the integrity, very high integrity. Otherwise, they'll get sued. So those are credible sources you can take. Don't take from blog, YouTube, TikTok. Even my TikTok also don't take a citation. You can refer that as reference, whatever I'm teaching, but that cannot be a citation. All right? No percentage, no way that you should include Wikipedia or any similar source of websites. No predatory journals, okay? And non-reliable news sources and websites. There you go. Non-reliable news sources and websites, okay? Okay, that is the very, very basic fundamentals of literature review. And to understand and to further move on from there, you can catch up all my classes here before we move to the next segment. Not go and watch now, but these are the things you can watch after today's class. Okay, you can go and watch my first class for this year, how to read a Web of Science Q1 paper for literature review, which will be important because some parts are actually stated there, which if you guys missed out. Abdul Rahman, how about the websites of the listed companies? That one is okay because they are public listed companies, yes, because they cannot simply announce. They are controlled by listing bodies, Bursa, Nasdaq, NYSE, Japan Stock Exchange, or they are governed by Security Commission, Security Exchange. So they cannot simply go and put things on their website. Okay, so those are credible sites. You can, and even if your supervisor or your examiner tell you why you put this website, how do you know it's credible? This is how you can defend. They are public listed, so SEC controls them, Security Exchange controls them, and the stock exchange also controls them. They cannot simply put things up. Okay, that is about kalau private company without listing, better don't, because they are not controlled by anyone. Private company, they can do whatever they want. Okay. Next thing, research proposal. No problem, Abdul Rahman, no problem. Then research proposal writing for PhD and masters. If you guys already in proposal stage, that is a class you should definitely go and watch. For those who are, now we are already mid-year. We only got 6 more months left to rally for this year, to heavily rally, to finish whatever we can finish by this year. So this is a time planning for 2023. And then PhD after time, can you sustain? For those already crossed 3 years of their PhD. I'm not telling it's a wrong thing, but I'm just telling how to sustain. This is a video with my consultee, my Dr. Tahira, my very good friend. So she came to me at the 10th, she came to me at the 10th year after she failed the Viva. She don't know what else to do. I think one of her friend from, she's the MBA coordinator in UITM. So UITM is very close to me. So one of her friend told to come and see me. She came all the way from Johor to Cyberjaya. The first 30 minutes, she was only crying. I still remember that day till today. I still remember that particular day. Okay, 4 months of extremely comprehensive coaching, extremely. Okay, she went all out. She never gave up. And eventually, after 4 months, she graduated. She went for Reviva. Everything was revamped in her thesis. She did a very good job. We took her through every step, and she managed to finish. Okay, so don't wait. Even Taira will say, you can watch a video. You don't wait until 10 years, then only you realize you need help. If you really cannot cope, you need a coach or your supervisor. You need more help from supervisor. Go and talk. Okay, don't wait until it is too late. And then you quit, you just leave it and go. Many clients of mine, after a certain time, they cannot cope anymore. They really cannot take the stress. It's not for everyone, to be honest. So, but I'm not telling you to give up. Just be prepared. The journey is not going to be easy. All right. And then here is a very good class also with Dr. Yuji, also my consultist. Many years she was working with me. She is a senior lecturer in Intan now, in very good position. She basically shared on how to strategize as part-time students. I believe this will be very, very helpful for all of you. You can also watch that from my playlist. She gave very good tips. And then for those who are still struggling with research gap, this is for you. Okay, so go and watch all this from my playlist. Next is an important segment. Web of Science and Google Scholar searches. This is literature part that comes in. We're going to go hands-on. In part one of my class, which was the last class I did in March, I think, for UPSI, I actually explained how to create new PhD research gaps topics from an existing study by using creative observation. And this is the topic that I looked into. Okay, so I looked into retention and development of Generation Y employees. Okay, that's what I looked into. Why this particular topic? Because Generation Y is a trend that people had been researching for many years where they don't stick to one company. They tend to jump. So, that is one of the objectives, how to avoid them from jumping jobs. So a lot of papers went into this, retention, development, training, mentorship, a lot of papers published. So when I read, I don't get any more gaps because too many papers, so many years already. Saturation already, dah tepu. Okay, so you might have the same problem also. You might read, you cannot find a gap. And you're supposed to say, go to literature review, You also go and do, read, still cannot find a gap. And then with no choice, you write something, and then you go and submit. They say still no gap, and you also got no clue what to do anymore. I believe most of you might be facing this problem. Okay, if you do, you can say yes lah in the chat box. So at least I know that you guys are in those stages. If you still cannot find a gap or you're still struggling with literature review, please comment in the chat box. So at least I know. Don't feel shy. Okay, in PhD, never ever feel shy. Okay, if you don't know, you don't know. That's it. Be open about it. If you're having trouble, you're having trouble. Okay, so for those who are having trouble with research gap, okay, with literature review, sometimes it's not really your mistake. Okay, see there, coming one by one. So I know it is a very, very common problem. Okay, it's a problem that I see every day from morning until even I sleep. Even midnight also I get calls from different countries lah. Okay. Okay. So it is a very, very, very common problem. So what people miss out is sometimes critical thinking alone would not help. Would not help. That's what I thought in the first class. Would not help. So we have to bring in something called creative observation. So rather than critical, we go creative. Okay? Create a problem when there is no problem. You can do that. Facebook is the greatest example of that. No one needs Facebook. No one knew they need Facebook. Apple iPhone, leave Facebook crap aside. Apple iPhone, they are the first one to change the entire paradigm of phone. There was no problem with the phone before that. Everyone was very happy with BlackBerry and Nokia and Motorola. But suddenly iPhone came in. We don't need it. But he created a problem. He created a requirement, a necessity that needs to be investigated, and that changed the world. Okay, so not always critical is going to help. Not always. In certain studies, you need creativity to look at the problem or to look at things and to create a new problem that no one actually looks at. So this is such example. So you have retention and development. Okay, people are looking at retention and development of Generation Y, and the angle here is employees. So everyone look at employees. So you also will start reading this paper, you look at employees. What else can I do for these employees? A lot of people already do. Many already do. So you're like, I don't even have a gap here to go in. Give me a bit of gap. I want to do something else. Cannot. Already done already everything. What more to do? Okay. So then, instead of looking at this from this angle, you look at it from different angle altogether, where a crowd is not looking at it at all. A big crowd is not actually looking at it. So that is what I did. Rather than looking at employees, I look at employers. Every action has an equal reaction. No one can change that law. Okay, so every action that we put into, pampering Gen Y, there is an equal reaction on the employers, which we can look at. That is called creativity. So what I am proposing, I'm not telling I'm doing this, I'm just giving an example. So in this case, if you cannot find a research gap, you can look at the impact on organization or employers by giving special care to Gen Y. Because when you say special care, everything is resources, everything. Money, new training, new position, new equipment, new tool, more training, more what do you call the benefits, free iPad, free laptop, free that, free this, many things we are giving, not we are, employees are giving, just to make them happy. These are all resources. And giving post-pandemic recovery and inflation and so on, organizations are struggling. So how are they coping with these people leaving? And then a business not coming in, and then they have to make them happy. How are they going to manage all this stress? How? Something to ponder upon. So I want to look at what would be the impact on organization or employers by giving special care to Gen Y. So I created a search string. This is what known as search string. Very, very crucial to design a search string. So here I included organizational impact, Generation Y, millennials. Okay. Now I need to ask all of you, what is this and what is this? Do answer me, all of you. If you don't know, just tell don't know. It's okay. It's okay to not know. It's okay to not know. I don't know about this several years back also. Tell me what is it. If you don't know, just tell don't know. I'm waiting for everyone to answer because I want you guys to participate. What do you think it is? Okay, so many of you tried and many of you agreed that you don't know, which is totally okay, no problem at all. Some of you gave the right answer. These are known as Boolean operators. Okay, for those who don't know, these are Boolean operators. For those who know, very good job, keep it up. But make sure that you use it when you design your search string. Okay, let me show you what will be the impact. Google Scholar will be down there, but I'm going to show you now itself. Okay, let me show you what will happen if you don't use this one. I need, so I just open another one. Okay, so excuse me. So organizational impact, Gen Y, lagi satu apa? Millennials. Okay, millennials. Okay, so I search this. How many results I got? 14,000. How many of you search like this without any Boolean operators, without any truncation, without any parameters? How many of you search like this? It's not wrong. It's not wrong. I just want to know. This is not wrong. This is how I used to search as well 12 years ago, 13 years ago. Okay, how many of you search like this without any operators? Fatin. Oh, Fatin. Damai, it's okay. Miss call. It's okay. Okay, not wrong, but will you able to read 14,000 papers? Crazy, right? Even I also won't read. Crazy lah, reading 14,000 papers. I read, okay, in total in my PhD, I read 1,200 plus papers. I read every day. I have the attitude that I need to read. I discipline myself. I have to read at least one paper. While I'm on the bus, I'm walking to university, or I'm on the move, I'm going to my work. I will somehow find time to read a paper. It has to be a practice for me lah. Okay, so end of the day, I read about 1,200 papers. Hence, I could write so many publications. Okay. So, how to reduce this? That is why search string is very important. Very, very, very crucial. So, what can I do? Okay, firstly, you need to buckle up the words. Okay, that means you know organization impact ni is one word. It's not organization, it's not impact. It is one word. So, you need to buckle that up first. Okay, group them together. Okay, so then Google Scholar knows this is one word, not two words. Okay, then you can use and then you can use or, and then we see what happens. Ta-da! 629 results from 14,000. From 14,000. That is what you get. Okay, so now what happens if I do generation Y? I get 753. That is more precise. Okay, from 14,000, I have filtered down to 753. You know how significant is that? That means from thousands of tabs, your paper, your paper that you want might be sitting in the 200 or 400 tab. Okay, tab number 200 or 400, which you will never go in this lifetime. You will never go. So that means you're missing out on important literature. And that is why sometimes you're going to find the right gap, you're going to find the right paper. And then we think it's not there. It's actually not, it is actually there. It's just that how you're designing your magnet. Someone is unmuted now. Can everyone please mute your mic? Ros Haslinda Hayati, please. Thank you. Dah mute ke? Okay, dah. Thank you. So, therefore, if you can use plus, minus in Google Scholar, I never tried actually, plus and minus. To be honest, I never tried before. Can we use bracket for Google Scholar? No, that's why I use this. That is why I use this. Okay, what do you call that? Quotation mark. I never used plus and minus before. Okay, there's another way you can do also. If you don't know this to be precise or not, you can go to advanced search. Okay, Google Scholar, click the burger button. This is known as burger button. Burger Ramli, this one. So you click this, you go down, you click advanced search. Okay, here you can use all these options. With all of the words, see, N is actually not working, Boolean, because that is why it's sitting here. If I remove this, it will still give me the same result. With the exact phrase, organizational impact, because I use quotation mark. I know I want this exact phrase. And then with at least one of the words, generation Y, millennials. This is all function, at least one of the words. Without the words, if you have any negative variable you don't want, you can edit here, where my words occur, written articles authored by whom, published in where, dates between. Okay, and if I click search, I'll get exactly the same result, a bit more lah, 762. Okay, so that is how you do it. Okay, so you might think, why no N? If I enter N, it will be the same result also. See, 762, it's the same. Okay, so that is how you search in Google Scholar. All right, so don't waste your time searching without Booleans. Boolean actually quite helpful. Then we go to map of science ni mana? Sini. Okay. Now we go to Web of Science. All right, searching using all in title in Google Scholar. You can try many style as long as it gives you all in title. Okay, that means all in title means that means the wording is only in title. That means if let's say the author never put those important keywords as part of the title, that means that paper won't appear, which is very risky. If I'm not mistaken, that is what it does. So better don't use it. Better use it throughout the whole paper. Okay. All right. So now we go to Web of Science. Okay, Web of Science very important. It is the Ferrari of research. All right. So it gives all the best papers there are out there. So this is a very, very important database. So you go document all fields, organizational impact, you add one more row, and then you add Gen Y, then you add one more, you change to all, you change to millennials, and you click search. You get 2,800 papers, which is still better than 14,000, but it is still more than Google Scholar. So what is wrong? Why? How did this happen? So that is where you need to work with the filters. These filters are very, very important. Google Scholar, you don't get to do this. That's the problem. Okay. Scopus and Web of Science, they are very good because you get to do this. I don't use any other databases. These two more than enough. So first filter I need to use is the type of publication. Document types. I click see all. I select article. I select review article. I don't want the rest. I only want these two. So I refine. From 2,800, it became 2,268. 600 already done. Negative ready. Then I want to add more. I want to, you can filter according to citation topic. You can look at Web of Science categories. You can look at research areas. Also, you can do another filter. Web of Science indexing, you can look at which indexing you want. So example here, you don't want conferences. Example, you don't want book citation, you don't want conferences. You only want through Web of Science, SSCI, ESCI, SCI, HCI, AHCI. Okay, the rest all you're not bothered. Conferences will do one. So you refine again. Then you get 2268, still the same. Then you go down now, you select, I'm giving you the last example. Web of Science category. So I take from here business management, economics, because it's economics related. I look at educational research, because can be related to education, because Gen Y is what they are from, school timing and so on. Maybe they have researched about their fundamental academics and behavioral response and so on. Sociology, social sciences, interdisciplinary, psychology. One moment, sorry. Fatin, can you call okay, and then psychology, social, multidisciplinary sciences, business finance, definitely, education, scientific disciplines, psychology, clinical, I don't think so, human, multidisciplinary humanities, social issues. Definitely all of these are important. You can filter according to that. After I refine, I get 1,200, almost close. I can further reduce down. There are more filters you can apply, but that will take time lah. That is for another day lah. But this is the basics of it, how you can use it. Now, you can see all the filters here. Everything will appear here. You see all these are all filters. This is the search string. These are all the filters. You can save the filters because you want to get the same result. But let me tell you something. Every day when you do search on Web of Science, you might get different results because on daily basis, new papers are being added to database. So if you do systematic review today, don't expect to get the same answer next week. It might change. There's a systematic review paper, you shouldn't delay. You already finished the protocol, push to write the paper immediately and push out. Same goes systematic review based chapter 2 because you need to build the protocol. If you build the protocol, write chapter 2, make sure you push it out as soon as possible. Because if supervisor asks you to rerun, after 1, 2, or 3 months, you might not get the same results and that will only waste your time. You have to recheck everything again. Okay? Then goes to analyze results. Why is this important? Here will tell you a lot of intelligent information. Okay, so you can look at Web of Science categories, but I always like to look at publication years to see how actively this area is being researched. Still got very good traction. So people are still working on it. Then authors, this is important if you're doing systematic review. You want to see which particular author is working on this most. And it is also important for you for general literature review, because if this author is working the most in your area, you want to make sure you follow this guy. You want to see what is coming on next, what is he releasing. Bukan Farizal, bukan semua university. So you kena check. Kalau dekat UPSI, I tak sure dia orang dah subscribe ke tak. But you can, as far as I know, you boleh check dekat, you boleh share dekat UTM, UM, UKM, UTP, USM, Unimas. Yang ni semua I know they got Web of Science. UPSI, I don't think they do. Okay? Okay, sorry. All right, so you need to follow these authors because you want to sort of follow him, like how you follow someone on Facebook, right? You want to know what he's doing daily, what is updating, what is new knowledge that they're sharing. YouTube also, again, same thing. You want to know what this guy is doing because this is your area. You want to know what is publishing newly on monthly basis, what is coming out new. So same, these are all the authors you should follow if you're working in this area. So you should follow in your own area also. Then next thing you need to look at is countries, regions. Which country is researching this the most? You see, Malaysia is one of the highest also. Okay, so this is an incredible problem in Malaysia as well. So that's why it's being widely researched. So this gives you another perspective of how you can describe in your literature review. Demographically, how is it going? These are all things that you can explain. And that's why this is important, analyzing. And Google Scholar don't have it. Only Scopus and Web of Science has it. I think other indexing might have, like PubMed ke, ABDC ke, they might have, which I don't use. But I use Web of Science Scopus. Google Scholar I use all the time, but they don't give me intelligent information. Okay? All right? So that is how it works. Now filtration, I explained how to filter. Analytics also I already explained. Those are the graphs I've shown you. So this whole thing done. Search string. Is it that easy? Just put one liner like what I did. Actually, this is a paper we coached. Scopus also Web of Science lah. It also published in Web of Science Q1. This is the single most complicated search string that I've built in that me and my consultant we built in our entire lifetime during coaching. This is how tough it was because the topic was very complicated. This was for UM, very very complicated. Okay. And this Google Scholar I demo already. Okay, for the question from Azrina, Scopus I won't be demoing today, but there is a live class on my Facebook listing already shown how to use Scopus. So nothing to worry, you can go and watch that. Okay, even Web of Science is more detailed. I've shown just 1 hour for Web of Science itself. Also available in my playlist. Okay, now the next thing, the most hottest thing comes in. Writing thesis with ChatGPT. Also writing journal. Very fun. Okay. So a lot of people are selling on this because they're selling the software. A lot of people are pushing on this because they want people to buy their software that they're selling. I don't sell software. So therefore, I'm showing you the real side of this software. Okay. They are good if you're working in an organization, if you're working in government, you want quick answers. Betul ke tak betul, nothing is going to happen to you. Okay, it might lah, we don't know lah, depending on the position. But when it comes to Chat GPT, when it comes to PhD, you must, or masters, you must make sure 150 to 200% that is precise. As I told you before, academia is very, very conservative. Okay, extremely. We are not liberal lah. We are not liberal. We are not open-minded. Okay, because we want precise information. We are very, very paranoid in academia. That's the right term. It's not a wrong thing, because you cannot report something wrong. That's why we have to be paranoid. You cannot report a false medication for cancer after research. That will kill a lot of people. You cannot introduce a wrong policy just because ChatGPT said so. That will be the craziest thing. So these are things that you have to really figure out. So I'll give you an actual problem that occurred. Okay. So here, real story from a student in the UK. who was applying for universities. I think 11 universities in total, if I'm not mistaken. And best of all, he applied to Warwick, he applied to Imperial, he applied to Bath, very good universities lah. All 11 rejected because UK universities are at least, I think, couple of years ahead of us, at least. Okay, but Malaysia university not bad. They're already buying the software to trace all this. So this student wrote initial PhD proposal to ChatGPT. Okay. First he approached me to coach. After that he wants to do it free lah, because of course ChatGPT free again. So he thought, oh, can do all this since YouTube so many people are showing it. So he did lah, this guy. And so you have to understand few parameters. Whenever a query was performed in ChatGPT, it looked legit, very legit. Even I did also. I was so convinced. But the information was imprecise at the least. Some are completely fake, completely. And references doesn't exist after a detailed database wide search. Never exists. I also tried. It just creates its own references. Other software also, whichever software they say sell you with the name of AI, I'm not against AI. I'm just against it in academia because it doesn't give what we need. Okay? Inaccurate facts that looks very convincing. And worst of all, even after using Quillbot, the student got royally screwed. Okay, royally, because universities don't use only Turnitin nowadays. They are also using .ai similarity check. They do. Though Turnitin got its own AI now, okay, this is Turnitin, this is originality.ai. Okay, they got AI. It's working very well now. Recently, in a couple of months now, I'm looking, it's working way better, but still cannot beat AI plagiarism checker. And I'm pretty sure that most of the Malaysian universities are already buying this kind of AI software because a lot of things are happening. So this guy wrote everything using ChatGPT, and I think also used Site AI, many different things that Islo told me lah. Then he used Quillbot to paraphrase. He's really good lah. He really is. Before even starting PhD, he already know how to take all the shortcuts. So he's good. He's good. And first of all, even after using Quillbot, it traced everything. Okay, it traced everything. But Trinity never traced. Originality AI showed 100%. How? How is that even possible? Because you have to understand, ChatGPT is an output. Quillbot is an output. Originality.ai is an output. They are all connected to the same brain. All wired to the same brain. So-called Quillbot, so-called AI lah. Okay, I don't know how much of that is true lah. Okay, it's one of the worst software in the market. Grammarly is okay, but Quillbot is horrible software. Okay, so this guy went and used because this brain is OpenAI lah, OpenAI brain. Everyone is most of them are using OpenAI brain. So this is the brain, and these are all the agents. I would call the agents. These are all agents. ChatGPT is one agent, Quillbot is one agent, this originality.ai is one agent, but they all go back to the same brain, most likely. So, okay, our host already, our moderator already shared the attendance link. You can click and register yourself. Okay, so this guy got the information from ChatGPT. Okay, when the brain generates an information, it is also learning. Okay, it goes this way. Okay, and it also goes this way. The brain has to learn, right? Okay, now ChatGPT is only blabbering. Most of the time it's blabbering. People don't know. Okay, they think everything is true. It's blabbering like a baby because it's still learning pretty much. Then it gave an output. So this abang took that output. He went to Quillbot. He entered the whole information again, which went back to the brain, and the brain gave new information, which it stored. So this brain already stored this information. Now stored this information that he put back to via Quillbot, and the flow gave out new information, and that also the flow stored in this brain already. Okay. So when the flow goes submit to all these universities use this software to scan. And this software is connecting back to the brain, which it's already there. So it knows this is 100%. Copied. So another student asked me one of the day, I think I was teaching in UKM. Okay, they also asked me a very good question. If this is the brain and this is ChatGPT, if I want to paraphrase, can I put into ChatGPT and the flow give me new English based write-up if I don't use Quillbot? Whatever you put inside, even if it is your original writing, it will be stored in the brain. And any other plagiarism software will detect it as 100%. So don't put anything of your own knowledge into this brain. It's a learning mechanism. It stores information. Please don't. And last time, before this introduction of this chat GPT, all this site AI which can write for you things and so on, universities were not considering of this software. That's why Quillbot was escaping lah, in a way. But now after universities realize that it can also write for you, now they are gearing up with this kind of software. So it also a screw up for Quillbot in a way. So, and not only that, why I'm against Quillbot is not that. I'm against Quillbot because it changes a lot of context. It royally changes very, very technical context. And I've seen students failing their PhD, major correction, papers getting rejected because they use Quillbot. Though the first layer of writing are on their own, but after using Quillbot, they got screwed up. So if you're going to paraphrase, please paraphrase on your own. You don't want to hire people like us. You don't want to hire proofreaders to paraphrase. Totally fine. That's why I teach how to paraphrase on my Facebook live class. You can go and watch. I've literally taught you how to do paraphrasing, because I don't want you to use Quillbot. You might think everything is good. You're reading it. But actually, for a technical person, when we read, we know it's already out of context. We already know the context change already. Some people can realize it, some people still can't. So be very, very careful. Okay? Now, Ref and Write, I think it's a very lousy software, right? I think it lost all the momentum that it had. I don't think it's any helpful. I've tried it. I mean, for me, like this, I tried it. Okay, let me tell you why. Because I'm a bit paranoid. I want to go and search for the papers on my own. I want to do the literature on my own because I don't want to trust what the software is giving me. Okay, so Ref and Write, when it released, I think before COVID, it had very good momentum, and eventually it all went under after that. So I don't know if it's comfortable for you, go ahead and use it. Okay, but if you ask me the most credible software for you to use in research area, definitely Mendeley, EndNote, Zotero, Grammarly. Grammarly is good for first layer checking. Comma, full stop, and I'm a proofreader myself. Okay, and running the biggest proofreading firm in Malaysia. I can tell you Grammarly is good for surface layer checking. Okay, that means we also use Grammarly Premium. So we check if we miss out any comma, if we miss out any full stop, if we miss out any the, and articles lah. But not restructuring, not rewriting, not detail editing. No way, Grammarly cannot do that. That's the only issue lah. But otherwise, on the surface, I think Grammarly is a very decent software. Okay, that is something I can watch for lah. Other than that, any other AI software, I really don't know. Okay, because there is software coming out now which is reading. Yes, Ramdhani, what is it? Yeah, Grammarly is okay. Grammarly, as I said, for surface level is okay. That means your English, the basic English must be very good already. Then you can use Grammarly to see very, very simple mistakes. But if your English is at the very basic level, Grammarly can never revive your English. Grammarly is only used for very basic stuff, very basic typographical errors. We call that typographical errors, like vocabulary error, some a bit of grammar error. But if the sentence structure is out, Grammarly can never fix it. No way. Not in this lifetime. You can try and see. You can try writing what you write. You can use Grammarly to correct it. I mean, I don't know your English level live. I cannot be judgmental. Maybe it's very good. You can try submitting to any Web of Science journal. You see what they give feedback. Then you will know. Okay, that's why Grammarly cannot be 100% used in academia, because we are very, 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 Quillbot is horrible. Forget Quillbot. Quillbot is one of the worst software ever created, if you ask me. I find them to be a cheat software. They are not paraphrasing. They are just spinning words together, or they just go and get some useless words from thesaurus and just replace. And they call that paraphrasing. That's not paraphrasing. Okay, that is just changing context altogether. So forget Quillbot. If you want to check grammar just on the surface level, use Grammarly. Don't use anything else. I don't think any other engine is working very well. If you ask me, many Insta text, this, that, all useless. We have experimented all of it. Don't waste your time. Okay? So, okay, next thing, here, ChatGPT. Research paper writing using ChatGPT, OpenAI. I'll tell you why human cannot be replaced as, I'm not telling this because we're running proofreading firm, not really bothered. We are already busy enough. What I'm trying to tell is why cannot be replaced, because um, Azrina, Grammarly has very big investment from Silicon Valley. Okay, everything else, they are not very efficient. Grammarly had been working out and solving a lot of problems, yet they cannot get there for so many years. Okay, they cannot get there, especially for academia. No way. It's not enough. Okay, if it is enough, we already closed shop long ago. Okay, it is not enough. Rightful, Instatext, all these are new stuff. Okay, they just copy and modify a bit of things. I wouldn't trust it. I would use it if my basic English, my IELTS, let's say IELTS level is already more than 8. My IELTS individual category, 4 categories, more than 8. If your IELTS is individual category, you think the level is 6, 6.5, please don't use any software, because you don't know whether it's doing the right thing or wrong thing. You don't know. Grammarly can be wrong. Many times I've seen it wrong, because it cannot understand the context. Certain context that we write in our PhD grammatically might be wrong, but technically it's correct. That's how we write in our area. That's why we cannot use the common English. That's why we call it academic English. It's different than common newspaper English. Okay, what is academic English? That is academic English. We use very professional way to write a technical matter in the way that we think it is right, or that has been practiced for the past 30, 40 or 100 years. Okay, so coming back to ChatGPT. Research paper writing using ChatGPT, OpenAI, thesis writing using ChatGPT, paper writing. Very proud lah, this channel. They post this like, wow, this is very good. A lot of people got excited. 25K views, You see down here, comment. Totally wrong reference provided. When you search the paper title in Google Scholar, it doesn't show any paper. Don't believe on this. You just give a DOI to ChatGPT, then you got everything. How much efficient is ChatGPT? It is writing anything, the reference it is providing does not really exist. Why? Why? What is wrong with all this literature searching software, all this writing software, all these things? Because the primaries, okay, I will call it the primaries lah. The primaries of research area is Elsevier, Taylor Francis, IEEE, Wiley, Sage, Emerald, okay, Springer, definitely Springer. Then you got Royal Society of Chemical Society, Royal Engineering Society, Institute of Mechanical Engineering, Institute of IEEE, Education like Blackwell, Routledge, all this. All these journals, are they free to read or you have to pay? Let's say you don't use your university subscription. You go back home. Can you open the journal without using any university access? As a public person, can you open those journals and read? Okay. It cannot access because the university is paying. That's why you can access. Exactly. So, when when ChatGPT or any other AI software, okay, anything lah, ref and write lah, Cite AI lah, whichever software reading papers for you lah, how are they accessing? The answer is they don't access. That's why they create fake information, or they only access MDPI, or they access whatever paper that is publicly available, whoever shared the ResearchGate, or only Frontiers. That's all. They don't access the primaries. That's why you cannot trust the information. That's why it's creating fake information. Kalau this AI software dah boleh access these journals will go bankrupt. No university will pay them anymore. All universities around the world, Elsevier worth is $6 billion. Okay, revenue. If all this AI software can access them through their firewall and so on, already bankrupt already. Easy. This year itself they'll bankrupt. Okay, because all universities will pull back. Get free access already. What? So Think about it when you use AI. They cannot access. So where are the material sources coming from? Think about it. Okay? No one explains about this. No one. Because they're just trying to sell software. But they don't care about the well-being of a thesis, which is quite sad to see. All right? So don't trust when they say use this, use that, use this, yeah, use this, use this. Yeah. Can lah. If you want to write email to your company, you want to write CV, you want to write, commercial stuff which doesn't require credibility. Kalau you nak credibility, please don't use AI. They are babies. They're still babies. So we all love AI, but academic research is not Wikipedia writing. It's not. We are bound by facts, precise information, ethics, problem solving, improving the world based on facts and actual research gap. Okay? Don't ever forget that. The examiners that are coming for your proposal defense, the examiner that is coming to your Viva, they are not using AI. They are old school people like me. I'm still very young, but I still old school. Research means I'm always old school because I am paranoid, conservative. Okay, I want the information to be 100% precise, or I don't use it. Okay, so when they read, they check your reference. Within 5 minutes, they can know your thesis is screwed. Your paper is totally screwed. And journals are starting to ban papers and authors who are using ChatGPT or any other software to write. Okay? So take extra care lah. All right? Please don't trust people who sell software and talks about it. Be careful. Be very, 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 very careful. Okay? Especially Quillbot. If you guys are using it, please stop using it. It is the biggest destroyers of theses and journals. Okay, don't trust what marketing people are telling. Since we are talking about chapters, okay, this one we can skip lah. I spend more time on ChatGPT. So classes to catch up before next segment. As I promised, I never put paraphrasing class here. I'll show it later. Graduate before time, 11 key tips. I graduated before time, so I shared some very important key tips if you want to graduate before time or on time. Conceptual framework design, chapter 3 design, methodology and research design. And for those who ask Scopus class, you can find it on my playlist. And also Web of Science, more detail, 57 minutes just on Web of Science. So you can learn much more here lah. All the recordings are there already. Okay, next thing, thesis and literature development workflow. This is the entire workflow of thesis, okay, when you want to develop. So you start from chapter 1, and then you go to chapter 2, you build a funnel. Funnel means from wide, you narrow down. And then from there, you create theoretical and conceptual framework. Then you go to methodology, chapter 3. And if you realize here, theoretical framework is gap-driven. Where is the gap coming from? Gap is coming from your problem statement. So that's how they are connected. Conceptual framework or any solution that you're proposing, like if you're not from social science, you're going to have systems, chemical composition, system on chip, many different things that you can do. All of that becomes your solution, which is RORQ driven, which comes back here. So this is how they are ultimately connected. They are all connected. They are all connected. And then chapter 3, finally chapter 4, layers of results. And then you go to discussion, and discussion backlinks to RORQ, which is here. And it also backlinks to your theory or your solution. Okay, somehow it backlinks all this. So when you're writing your chapter 5, you need to go back to your chapter 2 and chapter 1 to update it. That's what I'm trying to say here. Update references, add more information and so on, and then find your conclusion. And wherever there is a T, that means the templates are available in my Telegram group. You can go and download, all right? Okay, where do you do literature review? Where? So 12 steps consulting framework for PhD, master's thesis, and publications. This is what I normally use. Okay, my style is always very, very conservative. I don't trust AI. I don't trust computers. Okay, I trust humans more. Okay, so from here, I've split the entire processes into PhD proposal, PhD thesis, 2 different stages. All right, so from here, a lot of questions are always comes to me is, when do I do literature review and when do I stop doing literature review? Okay, literature review starts from there, then it goes there, and then it goes there, and then it goes there, and there, then there, and finally there. These are all the stages you must do literature review. You will need to do. After you finish, you want to throw, you're not in academia line anymore, you're not research anymore, forget the word literature review from your dictionary. But as a researcher, once you're already wired, here, up here, whatever you do in your life, you'll research. My life became like that. Whatever I do, beli barang dekat Shopee pun I buat research. I go and search for all the review. I search there, I search there. It just becomes part of you, researching. And that is all called literature review. Okay, it's in a way, it's called literature review. Some people just go, they see, they buy. They're not used to that process of researching. But once you're already into this cycle, you come out of this, they call it permanent head damage. Again, I would say it's more of permanent literature damage. Okay? So, how do you start the entire process? For those who join my class for the first time, if you've never seen this diagram before, I'll give you a very quick explanation. This is how normally I'll coach and consult all my consultees, including the supervisors who wants to, usually publish papers. And that is the drop point specifically made for them, where they can actually start producing papers from students. Okay? And students themselves, they also have to publish, obviously. Kalau tak, cannot graduate again. So, step number 1, always produce 10 pages proposal. Always. Don't do chapters 1 to 3 directly. Because if your supervisor don't agree, you are end up going to scrap the whole thing. And chapters 1 to 3 is usually around 50 to 80 pages. You don't want that to happen. Okay? So, you want to make sure that you write a 10 pages proposal, which includes introduction, a background, as an introduction background, problem statement, RORQ, significance of study, literature review, theory, conceptual framework, methodology, about 9 to 10 sections. Okay, conceptual framework can be your solution. It doesn't need to be a conceptual framework. Within 10 pages, get it done, maybe extra 2 or 3 pages, doesn't matter. Your supervisor already know what you intend to do. If they don't like, they'll stop you there. If they like, they'll ask you to give you more information, give them more information. So from that more information, you can write your chapters 1 to 3. You can move to the next step. If they don't agree, you scrap, you move to the next one. Or you ask them what to modify, you go back. But if you go here straight, without a comprehensive step 1, the tendency to scrap a 30 pages chapter 1 or 20 pages 40 pages literature review, 20 pages methodology is very high. I've seen many students going through that. Or they'll end up correcting and correcting and correcting and correcting because it's so vast, it's so huge that correcting it is so complicated. So end up the supervisor still cannot get what they want. So you actually, I'm not saying if you do step 1 properly, you won't correct here much, but at least your direction is very clear. You just have to steer clear of all the revisions. But this one, direction put clear. So you don't know which direction you're going. So imagine this, you're going in a direction like this. You want to make sure you hit the destination properly. This is your supervisor. This is a very small motorbike which you can control easily and go to the destination. This is a big train that you're driving, a long train you're going. Obviously, fixing the train is much tougher, analogically, if you think about it. Okay, so always start with 10 pages. And make sure that you proofread before you go for proposal defense. Not because we are doing proofreading, you can choose anyone you want in Malaysia or even overseas, but this is the face of your communications. Remember that. This is what people going to read the document before they see you for defense. Okay, you're going to submit to them, most likely. So if it is not clear, not structured, not very well written in English, people can understand your story flow, the funnel, language-wise, they don't even have a clue what you're trying to do, then your defense is going to be in a bizarre situation. You're going to go through a lot of hardship that you don't need to go through. Okay? So that's why this proofreading is very important. But we provide lifelong language warranty and definitely certificate. Okay, I'm also coming to UPSI soon to teach proofreading also, workshop. But now I'm starting a Q1 workshop, general workshop. Then I'll be teaching proofreading. But we always provide lifetime language warranty because it is not fair to the students and the supervisors or anyone that works with us. Because once we finish proofreading, it goes to examiner. When examiner says the language still needs improvement, you should not pay anymore because we already did proofreading. We will recheck for free. It is something that we promise lah. Okay. Then we prepare you for coaching. That's what normally we do. I mean, prepare you for defense via coaching. That's what normally we do. We teach you how to do PowerPoint slides. Our ratio is usually 70-30 or 60-40 in terms of graphics versus wording. Okay. Please don't have slides full of words only where you literally read from the slide. That is doomsday for you. Okay. Confirm doomsday. All right. Then go for proposal defense and finish your correction successfully first. Okay. These corrections is something that we coach all the time. All right. And we always never allow students to go to chapters 4 and 5 before they settle this, because you must make sure everything is intact before you finalize your instrument or your experimental method lah. And while doing all that, you can also concurrently produce 2 journals, 1 conceptual paper, 1 systematic review paper. All right. And you get a smiley face doing that. Why? Because by the time you hit rock bottom here, you already got 2 papers completed and published already. That's our end goal. That's our end game. Okay. So, data collection, we normally work on SPSS, AMOS, Smart PLS, NVivo, eViews, Stata, MATLAB, and so on and so forth. Okay, then you finish your chapters 4 and 5. This is the backlinking part. Remember I explained earlier, this is where you bring your chapters 1 to 3, you bring your chapters 4 and 5, you combine, update chapters 1 to 3, add more references, expand that fella, make sure he aligns with chapter 5, and then you complete your chapter 1 to 5. It's not just copy and paste all chapter 1 to 5. It's not that easy. Okay, then from there, you can extract 2 more journals if you want to. 1 more empirical, 1 more meta-analysis, 2 empirical, up to you. Finally, make sure you proofread your final thesis before you go to your external examiner. This is something you can never take chances from. Please, please, please don't rely on Grammarly when it comes to all this. Seriously, it won't be sufficient. Because structural integrity is important when the language flow goes. Otherwise, people can understand what you're trying to say. It's not only up to grammatical errors, where you put where you put and, where you put the, you compose the word. It's about the story flow. That's why we introduce something called structuring. Language structuring, not formatting. Formatting is a different story. So Grammarly alone would not be sufficient. Okay, so again, language warranty and certificate. Then finish your Viva, mock Viva. Make sure you have as many sessions as you can. Very, very important. So you train yourself so that you come out with minor or major correction. Major correction, not too bad. Don't worry. You just get extra time. I've seen many minor corrections during my coaching period here, which looks awfully more worse than major correction. But they just give minor correction because they don't want to give you major. They want to be nice. Some examiners are quite nice. But you look at the corrections, I have told of many students, this cannot be done in 1 month, because minor is 1 month. Major, you get 3 or maybe 6 months also. Okay. So, doesn't matter. What you don't want is fail reviva, major reviva. You don't want to do Viva again in your life. Okay. Never. Unless you want to do second PhD lah. Right. So anyone wants to do second PhD here after your first PhD, please let me know. I'll pay my tribute to you. Any second PhD after first PhD? I will pay my tribute to you. Okay. The last thing I want to do in my life is another PhD. If you want to do second one, memang I respect lah. That is a different level already. I will seriously pay my tribute to you. Okay. Okay. So how do we normally assist and support? Okay. We have 4 different modes, but for students, mode 3 and mode 4 are the best. We will build a complete comprehensive coaching plan, chapters 1 to 3 first, or kalau publication and publication coaching plan. Then chapter 4 and 5 usually will run classes to teach the whole analysis process. But some students, they want to go direct into content editing, mode number 4. That is also encouraging lah. For someone who already written everything at the final stage, they want to submit, or they are going for proposal defense, but they don't know whether they're good or not. Then they can opt for content commenting, which we will give a lot of comments, and you can come for online coaching to learn about those comments. This is a bit quick result lah. Okay. Okay. Now literature review workflow using reference manager and matrix. Okay, this one is pretty important. First, you have research objective and research questions to define first. So how do you define? You use PICO method. P stands for population problem process. I stands for intervention, inquiry, investigation, improvement. C for comparison. O for outcomes. This is a good method to design your RQ lah. Okay. So, PICO method example. This is an example how you design a research question. As consumers, we know that oil prices are volatile and affect almost everything we buy. This is the problem. Okay. Regulations are used to create some measure of stability. This is the current practice or comparison. Okay, so first, this is the problem, oil prices, volatility, and affect almost everything. Then you have regulations which will be used as an agent of comparison. Then you have speculators try to minimize risk and optimize profit, and these are the intervention. That means they go and shake up the market lah. And then you got both speculators and regulators may lead to outcomes that will influence oil prices. Okay, so how is the RQ? In rising oil prices, which is the problem, how do speculators, okay, which is the intervention guys here, compared to regulators, who are the comparative guys here, influence oil prices? This is how you use PICO method. Okay, it's okay if you don't understand it at one go, but go study more on it. You can actually design very nice research questions if you follow PICO method. But this is an example lah. Okay, this is already done in the last class, searching for articles. I just shown you also today. Then I also showed you how to filter. Done. Then organize articles and Mendeley, sort into folders. I'll show you my own examples lah. Okay, this is how I sort my articles into folders. I told you, right, I'm very conservative. I want to see each and everything. I am very scared of risk in my PhD. Even now also when I do research, I don't trust software that much. Even EndNote and Mendeley, such simple software also can do mistake. When you cite, sometimes it won't be correct. Because it's still software, end of the day, a lot of bug. And I'll check again after doing EndNote. So first, these are all the literature that I arrange according to the topic area I'm exploring, my main research areas. Then I arrange all my literature according to my sub-research area within the folders. So these are all my sub-research areas, or papers related to sub-research areas lah. Okay. Then I arrange all of the literature in my EndNote according to my documents. Okay, first I arrange them according to all the papers that I write. Okay, all the papers that I write. Then I combine the papers. Before I wrote proposal, I combine them into proposal. I finish my proposal. Then after I proposal, I wrote more papers. Okay, all these papers after my proposal. Then at the end, I take all those references, I combine and make them into a thesis. This is EndNote. I never used Mendeley. At that point in time, Mendeley was not famous. EndNote was very famous. So I used EndNote. Even now also I use EndNote. So then I combine into thesis. And reference managers, they will remove duplication. So you don't need to worry. Okay, then once that is done, you read and make notes. You build teams, answer research questions, fulfill research objectives. You also do reverse snowballing here lah. You refer to the references of the paper that you are reading. You go through the references, download them, go through the whole process again. Now, how to do this? Research question, fulfill research objectives, and so on. Okay, you summarizing a literature alone is not enough. But how can you summarize? Go back to my Telegram group. Download this literature review summary. This is what I taught in the last class. How to summarize a paper after reading the paper. These are all the summary approach I've taken. And I have potential gap at the end. So I have title, authors, introduction, theory, variables, methodology, analysis. You can go through this. You can also watch the class on my Facebook Live. Okay? And this is the critical part of it. So just summarizing alone won't be enough. You need to be critical. How to be critical? You can use this template. Critical literature review template. Questions by Dr. Tawa. I have created 6 segments. Start by understanding the paper that you are reading, familiarity with the subject area, critical analysis, apply your thought process, how you intend to do it. Let's structure a literature review. You see, I have one column just on critical analysis. When you answer all these questions, when you read a paper, automatically you would have critically reviewed the paper. This is one of the most helpful templates as per the feedback from all the students. Okay, even the graduated ones. So you can download this from my Telegram group and you can start using it. Whenever you share this with your colleague, with your friends, make sure you acknowledge lah. Kalau you share dekat online pun boleh, make sure you acknowledge proofreading by UK PhD or myself. Alright. Classes to catch up before next segment. First, from today, stop using Quillboard. Go and watch my class. Learn how to paraphrase on your own. It takes time, but at least you'll be at peace. You know that context never lari. And unless you want someone to paraphrase, you can always approach us. Context will be guaranteed. That one, no problem. Okay. Then you have literature reading and summarizing here. Okay, how to use this template. I've already have one class here, which is this class will teach you a bit of those template. And then PhD after time with award-winning thesis. People always try to market graduate on time, graduate on time, graduate on time. But here I'm showing you graduate after time, but with award-winning thesis. 6 years to finish PhD. Go and check out Dr. Tun Irfan's video. He is a senior lecturer in UITM now, but PhD from UTM. Then I got chapter 1 template class and literature review databases, which database to use. Okay. Now we are almost done. So please stay with me. We are almost there. This is Dr. Naeem's thesis. His chapter 2 lah. Okay. Who is Dr. Naeem? Dr. Naeem is a postdoctoral fellow in UMK now. My former client and one of the most impressive candidates I've seen in my life. Graduated his PhD in 2 years and 7 months with 17 publications. Okay, 17 publications. This guy, I never coach. I only proofread and paraphrase all his papers because his English is okay. But all 17 papers, including his thesis also lah. His thesis? No, his thesis I never proofread. I only proofread publications because he just copy and paste from his publications. Go and check out his strategies. Okay, how he managed to pull this off. And one of the most viewed video also lah. Okay, this is his title. Now, he is willing to share his thesis as a reference, as a sample to all my participants. He agreed. Very nice guy lah. Okay, who wants his thesis? Who wants a copy of it? I need to see the energy from you guys if you want a copy of it. Okay, do let me know in the chat box. More energy. Just to give you a bit of awakening lah. Marini's energy is really good lah. Okay, so I will share with you guys. Okay, the topic of this thesis is conservative agriculture practices, adoption, and impact on the sustainable farm performance for rice farmers in Pakistan. Okay. From this title, how did he structure his thesis? This chapter 2, very interesting. This is I'm not telling this is the only way, but this is one of the approach lah. He always start the chapter 2 with title is the anchor. Always remember, title is your thesis is the ship. The title is the anchor. It will tell you which way, or it will stop you if you're going the wrong direction. So always look back at the anchor. All right. So conservative agriculture is what he started his chapter 2 with. Then he followed on the next part on adoption, okay, which is this. And then he went to the next part with impact. So this was on impact. All right. Then all the theories that he used for his research were established between 2.3 and 2.5. That means all the theories are mentioned here. Some thesis chapter 2 will have theories subsection itself. That's what I'm telling. All don't use the same style. Even when we coach, different consultants have different style. I'm just giving an example only lah. Okay, then he introduced gaps, once title exploited, then jump to limitations. After that, proposed conceptual framework or any form of proposed solution lah. Okay, next thing, everything related to the proposed solution. Okay, everything related to proposed solution. So this is all related to the hypothesis development, blah, 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 everything related to solution. Practices, adoption, and sustainable farm performance for rice farmers in Pakistan. Yep, that's right, Azrina. Okay. So I will share with the thesis with you. You can go through, you can see how he has structured his thesis. If it is helpful, you can follow. And this is just a breakdown of how the thesis flow was lah. Okay, how the literature flow was. Okay, so that is structuring of chapter 2. Very, very core. We will go into the depth during the 4th class because we only have 2 hours. So classes to catch up before next segment. Writing review journal before proposal defense. That is our goal. We don't have a goal that only finishing proposal and thesis. No point. You need to publish. A PhD without publication is no PhD at all. That's how I look at it. That's why we always emphasize on developing proposal thesis and publication concurrently. Okay. Designing questionnaire instrument, very important for your chapter 3. This also you can go and watch. Thesis strategies for minor correction. Systematic literature review for those who intend to write a review paper. And then, of course, the class with Dr. Naeem, please go and watch. It's a very nice class. Very nice podcast, more of a podcast. Okay, so after literature chapter, now we strategize for publications. From proposal, okay, chapters 1 to 3, we can write concept paper. Concept paper is also applicable for engineering. If you're from engineering physics, you can also write concept paper. How? I'll give you an example later. I'll show you an example that you can have a look. And then systematic review paper only focuses on your chapter 2 only. Okay, without overlapping. Okay, then you have scoping review paper. I'll explain in the next class. Then during thesis stage, okay, you have empirical paper, which you can write, meta-analysis if you want to write more, and then scoping review. These are the journals you can strategize from one thesis. You can. All right. Okay, this one is for your own reference. I'll share the slides with you. You can go and study it if you want to. This one has narrative, systematic, and scoping review. What are the differences? So which one to write? All right. So this is very important. As I told you earlier, engineering, you can write concept paper. This is a very good example from UTM that we work together with the authors. Okay, Q1 impact factor 7.144, SCI ISI, rank number 9 out of 138, systematic conceptual review, but engineering. This is another engineering, renewable and sustainable energy reviews, Q1 impact factor 16.7, rank number 1. Food science and technology, I see some food and science technology here. Q1 impact factor 16.002, rank number 2, narrative review. This is social science. Just conceptual review, no any systematic review, just conceptual. Rank number 7, Q1 impact factor 10.8. These are papers that we have, some we have coached, some we have proofread and paraphrased, and these are all papers just from the proposal itself. I'm not telling everyone can publish in Web of Science just from proposal. It's not that easy. These papers we went through hell before it was published. Okay, not easy. Very, very tough. But Scopus, definitely possible. Definitely. Okay. Okay, about impact factor, SCI, and ranking, I'll explain more in the third class. Okay, because we're running out of time. Very sorry, Yong. However, if you want to learn immediately, there are at least 7 to 8 publication-related classes on my Facebook Live. You can go and watch those classes. All this already explained already. Okay, very well explained actually. Actually, in the last class I did, high impact publication, I think I explained this also. Go and watch that. Or in the third class, I'll explain it in detail for you. Okay. Now coming to the importance of proofreading and why I say Grammarly is good, but not sufficient. Because of that. That is what Grammarly can never do. Okay. That is what Grammarly can never do. You see the tracking? No way. Not a chance, not in this century. Okay? And that is what humans should do. Paraphrasing, proofreading, deep revamp, critical lookout, and intense drilling. When we say proofreading, editing, structuring, this is what we meant. Not changing one word here, one word here, one word here, one word there, and then one word there, and then one word there. I know some people do that. They so-called proofreaders. Some people do that. That is wrong. If you get that, ask for a refund, go and use Grammarly. Grammarly can do better than that. We want this, not this. Okay, this is a complete waste of time. Okay, and very importantly, the comments that comes with it. Okay, and that is what we do as part of our proofreading process. Okay, and for those who are working towards thesis and proposal, we have ultimate thesis package up to 30% off. Proofreading, translation, formatting services. Kalau for journal, a lot of people ask me, should I submit to proofreading after getting review from journal or before? After getting review from journal, why you want to proofread? No need ready. You must do it before submission. When you submit something, proposal ke, thesis ke, journal ke, grant ke, even CV also, the language must be perfect before you submit. Okay? Because that shows your characteristics, your attitude actually. Okay? And of course, lifetime language warranty will be provided. You don't need to worry. You don't need to worry about paying Dr. Tawa again for proofreading. Kalau examiner say something or supervisor say something. Provided you don't change anything after our proofreading process. If you change something, then there is no warranty anymore because you changed already. If you never change anything, please come back to us. Okay? Okay, these are some sources of inspiration for those who are still struggling. Okay, still struggling. This is Dr. Faiza, who came to us, I think, at the 8.5 or 9th year of a PhD, after waiting for a very long time. Okay, and finally she graduated after 10 years of a PhD and made it. This is a very nice photo of her. She graduated, I think, beginning of this year or end of last year. I cannot recall precisely. Okay, but what I'm trying to emphasize here, imagine if she given up. She wouldn't be here. Now the deal is done. She's done for. And then another one is Dr. Ravi, partially blind, still went for it, 4.5 years. She came to us after he became partially blind. Okay, so the formulation is very simple. Our side, coaching, consulting, paraphrasing, proofreading. That would do the trick. Okay. Doesn't matter how long it takes. Okay, remember that. Doesn't matter what is your condition. Don't worry, people tell you GOT, GOT, GBT, GBT. If you can, very good. Go ahead. If you can't, don't destroy your mental health. Don't look at someone else graduating and you feel like can graduate. It's okay. Your time will come too. Don't worry. Your time will surely come. But you need to push for it. My advice to you is don't do PhD more than 4 or 5 years. Don't. Try to finish it before that. Because the longer you drag, the easier you'll give up. Okay, try to finish it under 4 to 5 years. I am not asking you to graduate on time. I don't want to put that pressure on you, but if you can, please do, because you're saving your time. You're saving your time, and you can go out and spend time with your kids, family, enjoy yourself, and so on. If you finish PhD, with PhD you cannot enjoy. It's already always at the back of your head, telling you something. Literature review, supervisor, something is always whispering in your ears. It still goes on in your head. Okay, so you don't want that. All right, so try to finish as soon as possible. Otherwise, even you go for raya lah, you go for whatever lah, celebration lah, holiday lah, pergi ke beach lah, it will still come into your head. And then you go blank, you go quiet. You know that you still need to finish, it's still going on. I didn't like that. That's why I push it for graduating before time. I push as hard as I can. Okay? I'm not telling you should, but don't take too long. Okay? Don't take too long. All right? And for those who are actually stuck and taking too long, or they feel that they might take too long, you can come and talk to me. Okay, we always focus on publication, content editing, Scopus and Web of Science. Anything below that, you can do on your own. Don't waste your money. ERA, Myra, all this you can do on your own. Easy stuff, actually. Just a bit of hard work, you can do it. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. Proofreading, yes, but not for content. Okay. For those beginning of PhD proposal all the way to defense consultancy, that means from beginning step 1 all the way to the defense. Okay, and after defense, for those who are facing proposal, defense, examiner correction, and even thesis viva correction, don't know how to correct that tepu, saturate ready, come and talk to us. Okay, and finally, defense viva preparations, very, very crucial. We also coach that a lot. We will grill you lah. There is no leniency from us because we want to make sure that you pass. Thesis to journal conversion, one of our best services ever. And chapters 4 and 5, data analysis and interpretation. Doctor need to make appointment. Yeah, need to make appointment because I'm teaching all the time. So walking in would not be a good idea. I have to be honest. So if you want to get in touch, you can WhatsApp me. That's my WhatsApp link. Okay. And for those who wants to do self-help, they don't want to get help. It's totally okay. That's why I've given you about 130 videos that you can go and learn yourself. Okay. People don't give free resources like this. I have to be honest with you. You can go online and search everywhere. They only talk crap. They don't give information. Talk crap, talk crap, talk crap. They can do that all day. But what we want you to have is solid information, solid template, solid content that even you can help yourself. Okay. So today's class, I'm going to give you many free notes. Okay. Systematic review for chapter 2. If you're using systematic review, this is the protocol you can follow. A step-by-step guide for conducting systematic review, a framework for rigorously identifying research gaps in qualitative literature review. This is important. How to write your research PhD proposal step-by-step guide, and Dr. Naeem's thesis itself. Okay, I will share with all of you. Okay, so upcoming classes, I forgot to change the date, but upcoming classes that you can register: Facebook Live, literature review, these 2 classes, 13 and 14 June. I already share. Register yourself, and everything else you can find on my link tree. And most importantly, make sure you go and follow my TikTok channel. After this, is going to be super active. Okay, we are migrating from Facebook gradually to TikTok. Okay, or we'll be maintain both lah. All right. So, how was today's class? What do you guys think? Have you guys learned anything new, or was it productive enough? Do give me your feedback. Let me know, what do you think. Don't go yet. Please wait. You need to register yourself for the class so I can send the notes to you. Thank you, Ramdani. Thank you. I appreciate that. How about the rest? How do you guys find the class? Okay, very good. I'm glad. Thank you so much. Nice. Okay. I'm very glad that you guys learned, and never waste your 2 hours. Okay, never waste your 2 hours. So for those who want to approach us, want to come and talk to us, this is our office in Cyberjaya. Okay, and that is, you can look us up, Facebook, you can look us up Google, you can look us up our Google review, 1.6K 5-star review. Okay, and now for the next Facebook live classes, okay, I give you the opportunity to request. Now this month everyone gets the opportunity. So very simple, go to this link. All right, you can request whatever you want to learn. Click that link. Okay, click that link. Make sure you hit 5-star. Don't hit less than 5-star. Hit 5-star. In the comment, write down what classes you want next. So at least how was your experience in this class. Click that link. Don't forget 5-star. Nothing less. Okay. Why I can't key in my attendance? I'm not so sure, Ellen. Can you try again? Yeah, try again. So for the rest, please click the review button, hit 5-star, and comment what you want in the next class. Don't forget, okay? And this is where we are located. So with that, thank you very much. I finished on time because we started at 12:10. So with that, thank you very much. Thanks for your time today. Let's go ahead and close this. All right. So thanks for joining today. Don't forget, 3rd class and 4th classes, make sure you come and join. When NCDRC shares, please register yourself. Remind your friends to register also, because our host is doing a very tough job. Actually, she's emailing and getting registration and so on. Thank you very much. Okay, honestly, she's doing a very good job. Okay, so thank you very much, guys. I wish you all the best. Take it easy. Whatever you want to learn, go and watch for my Facebook live class. Okay?
Okay, Doctor. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. All right. See you guys.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.